Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dane, your host. I hope you're doing great wherever you find yourselves. And blessings to all of you wonderful people out there. Today I've got a new mini-series for you, and it is ranking my top favorite, and that is 10 in all, my 10 top favorite of all time live discographies. The qualifications or parameters are very simple. I'm a big believer in quality. I'm a big believer that quality cannot exist without quantity. Now, having said that, the reverse is not true. You can have quantity through the wazoo that doesn't guarantee quality. So, for example, as a teacher, when I have my students write, I tell them that you can't have a good paper unless it's a decent size. You can't have a really good paper if it's one page. That's not a real paper. I'm not going to include artists and bands which have minimal live albums in their discography, so you have to have a bunch. I would say 7 or more. I think for this you'll find that there are at least somewhere in between 8 and 12 in each of the top 10. And also the final parameter is that there's just rock albums, live albums. Rock music is the genre. There's no jazz. Otherwise, I would definitely include Miles Davis, but I wanted this to stick to rock music. So let's go ahead and get started. Today's number 10 is Jimi Hendrix. What a wonderful discography! A lot of material out there, and most of it is posthumously released stuff after Jimmy's death. It doesn't matter, still a treasure trove of wonderful live stuff issued from his estate after his passing. So there's no ranking with the live stuff here. Maybe I'll go back and do that later, but for right now I'm just presenting what I think to be the essential live albums in said discography, if you will. So the first album I want to discuss with you is Band of Gypsys. Of course, this is new material at the time that it is released. You now have some funk and R&B combined to make a funk and psychedelic rock album, because of course the psychedelic stuff coming mostly from Jimmy. So it's a treat to have this in the collection. There is also a Band of Gypsys 2, but it's not very good because essentially what you have is an anthology of him playing with his bandmates from various sessions, and some of that pops up on an album I will talk about here later. You have Billy Cox on bass and the wonderful Buddy Miles on drums. And you have great wah pedal from Hendrix here. Again, it's great funk and psychedelic rock. And it's a short set. You have 6 tracks: Who Knows, Machine Gun, Changes, Power to Love, Message to Love, and We Gotta Live Together. And a lot of it's jamming. Who Knows is over 9.5 minutes. Machine Gun, 12.5 plus change. Not just say 12 minutes, 33 seconds. Changes is 5:10. Power to Love, almost 7 minutes. Message to Love, approaching 5.5. And We Gotta Live Together is short of 6 minutes. Recorded live New Year's Eve, 69-70 at the Fillmore East in New York. I'm going to talk about the Fillmore East much more in today's video. So again, cool album cover. And there's the back. A must-have in the Hendrix live. In your collection, a must-have album in the Hendrix collection. That came out January 1st, 1970. Next is the Woodstock. Must own, if you ask me. You must get I can't tell you what to do, but I suggest, that you get the 2 CD version, because the 1 CD version isn't the whole experience, and even this is not the whole experience. For all these, I'm not gonna list and say all the track lists for all these, but for some of them I will. For this, you get the introduction, Message to Love, Hear My Train a Comin', Spanish Castle Magic, Red House, Lover Man, Foxy Lady, and Jam Back at the House, which is approaching 8 minutes. And side 2, the wonderful approaching 7 minutes, Isabella, Fire, Voodoo Child, Slight Return, Star Spangled Banner, Purple Haze, the Woodstock Improvisation, which is great, Villanova Junction, and concluding with Hey Joe. So 16 tracks, 2 CD set. The problem with this is that it's still not the complete show, because the medley is omitted and the Lee and Mitchell solos are not here either. And I'm not sure where you can get them. I have to research that. But yeah, you still want to get this if you don't have it, if you're a Hendrix fan, because it's amazing. So, all right, now next is the Isle of Wight, released November 1971. Billy Cox on bass. It's only 6 songs. Before I continue, if I don't present a CD to you or a vinyl record, you'll have something pop up here or here, and that means that I have it on MP3 or it's burned somewhere and I have it stashed away, but it's definitely in my iTunes, so I have it. I'm not going to talk about something I've not heard. That would be ridiculous. So Isle of Wight, released November 1971. Billy Cox on bass, as I said. 6 songs, but it's wonderful 6 songs. You have the wonderful Midnight Lightning, Foxy Lady, Loverman, Freedom, All Along the Watchtower. So you get a wonderful live version of that Dylan classic done by Hendrix. And then In From the Storm to conclude things. I think this is a must-own as well. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this album, but I think it's worth having. Next, Jimmy Plays Monterey. Recorded in =67, released in 1986, so I'm a senior in high school. Only 9 songs, yet think it's fabulous to have. You have a great cover version of Wild Thing to close the album. It's just past 9 minutes, 10 seconds long. However, I do suggest that if you have Jimmy Plays Monterey, that you trade up and get Live at Monterey, the 2007 release. And this is essentially the estate put out a more comprehensive version of Jimmy's Playing at Monterey. So, and I have both somewhere. Okay, now. Okay, so that was Jimmy Plays Monterey and Live at Monterey. Again, I prefer Live at Monterey. Yeah, all right. Next is Live at Winterland. There are different cover versions depending on which release you have. It's been re-released. It's been released and re-released again. I believe it's a 1968 show. I would say get the 92 release because you get a bonus disc with Are You Experiencing Voodoo Child, Slight Return, and Like a Rolling Stone, and the Bob Dylan cover, and those are so instrumental in representing what Hendrix is all about in 1968, I think. The original version was released in 1987. It was recorded, of course, live in '68, and I think this is a must. Again, this is a must-own CD or vinyl if you can find it on vinyl. So again, Live at Winterland is a must-own. Next is Radio 1, long out of print. I remember a friend getting this on vinyl. It's that wonderful, if you remember the Ryko discs, that Ryko disc put out all the David Bowie stuff at one point, up to and through and including, I believe, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. And a friend of mine, Chris, had this on vinyl. He recommended getting it, but when I went to go get it, you couldn't get it. And I don't think it was ever released on CD. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a show from 1967. However, there is a silver lining to this because, again, thanks to the Jimi Hendrix estate, they re-released this, which is a more complete and comprehensive of what was released on Radio 1. So you get everything from Radio 1 here on CD, and it's a 2-disc set, and it's I won't read all of the song listings here, but you got some wonderful songs, the hits that we know of, BBC done wise, but you get some other stuff like Driving South, Catfish Blues, Lover Confusion, Hound Dog, wonderful version of Hear My Train Come, It's All Wonderful, Killing Floor, I Was Made to Love Her, Jammin', Day Tripper is a nice treat, Lulu Introduction, Hey Joe, Sunshine of Your Love. So this is a wonderful, wonderful. I love the BBC stuff. I have a bunch of them, Motorhead, etc. I don't have the Beatles yet. The two, I've heard them, and I'd like to get them at some point. But yeah, this is great to have, replacing the old Radio 1. Yeah, so a must own. BBC Sessions 1998, again, more comprehensive. All right, That was okay. Next is, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Next is Live at Berkeley. The show was from 1970. You get a lot of music here, and what's great about this, you have some epic tracks like Machine Gun is always a long song, really, 11 minutes and 22 seconds, and then Voodoo Child Slight Return, close to 11 minutes. It's wonderful, and when I was talking about Band of Gypsies 2, some of the tracks that appear on that anthology, it's not a true live album in the sense that Band of Gypsies 2 is not one show. It's, like I said, an anthology, but many of those tracks on Gypsies 2 you get here at Live at Berkeley, and it's all the songs from Berkeley. And that's, I think, an essential album as well. Next, we have Live at the Fillmore East, which is a must-own if you ask me. The 2-disc set. I won't read all the tracks here, but you get some songs like We Gotta Live Together, Isabella, Hear My Train A-Comin', Auld Lang Syne, Stepping Stone, right? Burning Desire, Wild Thing to End Things. But the next one would be Machine Gun, Fillmore East, the first show, 11 tracks. With great songs like Buddy Miles' Changes, a cover of Stop, and a cover of Elmore James's Bleeding Heart. Now, having said that, thank goodness for, again, the estate putting out this. Okay. Songs for Groovy Children, the Fillmore East Concerts box set, all the concerts in its entirety, which contains this. And, as I said, Machine Gun, the Fillmore East show, which is the first disc in the box set. Power of Soul, Loverman, Hear My Train A-Comin', Changes, Isabella, Machine Gun, Stop, Easy Rider, Bleeding Heart, as I mentioned, Earth Blues, and Burning Desire. And this is wonderful. And you get this set. Okay. I won't read all the tracks here, but if you're a completist, you want to get this box set. It's still available. I got it a couple years ago. Here you go again. So this is my, as I said, this is my little mini series where I document what I think to be the greatest live album discographies of all time. I won't mention every single live album from a particular band. There are other Hendrix live stuff here that exist, rather, but I'm just mentioning the ones that I think are top-notch and that I think are must-own if you're a fan of the band or artist in this case, for the most part. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for number 9. Take care. Bye now.